Hello, I'm Jim Dolan from Pride of Irons, and there'll be something a little bit unusual for listeners and viewers this week. Usually you're used to seeing either me and my trusty companion Rob talking about the men's game, or my other co-chair, so co-chair of Pride of Irons, Joe Bailey, talking about the women's game. And we usually talk to rival fans as well. But this week, it's Rainbow Laces, so we're doing something a little bit special, a little bit different. Joe, you're with me today. Hello.
Hello. Yes, I'm Joe, season ticket holder for men's and the women's games. I must just add that because there's somebody here as well that's only just got season ticket holders for the men's. Also part of the women's supporters board as well. And I've often been told that I'm the better looking one of the co-chairs. So, yeah.
I'm not going to deny that.
Russ will agree, I'm sure, yeah.
Well, yes. So our special guest this week is not a rival fan. It doesn't really need an introduction. It's DJ Russy Budden. Hello, Russ. How you doing, mate?
Hello, guys. How are we doing?
We are fantastic. All the better for having you.
Thank you. Lovely to be on. Thank you for asking me.
Adoring your purple background and feeling very jealous at the moment as well.
I told you, it's 15 quid from Amazon and a white wall. I'm ruining the sort of the facade, isn't it? £15.
Don't give away the secrets.
I know. I might change the colour halfway through if anyone notices, but yeah.
Now, so usually, like I say, we talk to opposition fans, and we go through the same sort of set of questions. We're not going to do that this week. We're going to do something a little bit different. So for those who don't know Russ, and let's be honest, everyone's going to know him more than us, but he does a brilliant YouTube channel called My Hammers 11, where he speaks to people all throughout the fan base around what would be their dream Hammers starting 11 from the time they started watching, right, Russ?
Yeah, because otherwise it'd be everyone would have the same bloody 11, wouldn't they? If you picture Dream 11, everyone would have Bobby Moore in it and stuff like that. But so the criteria is the only rule actually is the fact that you have to be alive to have seen them play. So I never saw Billy Bonds play. I never saw Trevor Brooking play. I saw Samasi Abu and Peter Butler. No, that's disservice to Pete Butler. Samasi Abu and Jonathan Spector. And so, yeah, that's the idea. So we've had almost 200. So we started it in lockdown 1.0. And since then, we've had almost 250 guests on. As you said, like a whole wide section of fans. Some relatively inexperienced fans who haven't had that sort of, they're still really optimistic, haven't had it drummed out of them just yet. Some more experienced who have been hardened by years of watching the Hammers, all over the world, all different ages, from different groups as well. Obviously, we've had both of you on. We've had
some very special celebrity guests as well, right? Very well-known individuals.
Yeah, done all right.
So come on, give us some names.
Okay, let's just drop a few. We had Ray Winston, we've had Harry, we've had who else have we had? We had Chris Akabusi, we had Chesney Hawks. I love Chesney Hawks. We had we had Billy Mitchell from EastEnders, Perry Fenwick. We had loads, and we've had loads of players as well. So ex-players, we've probably had about 40 or so. Those 250 have been ex-players. So everyone from Trevor Sinclair to John Pantsill to Jeff Pike. Johnny Pantsill, lovely bloke.
Yeah, he always seemed lovely.
Yeah, he had a little bit of a. I think he thought more of his time at West Ham than I did, to be honest. But he was lovely. He was lovely. And
if I remember rightly, his last season, the end of season lap of honour, I'm sure he did a solo lap afterwards.
Yes. Yeah, he did. He said he did that because all the fans would sing his name, and they were all singing his name all season. I was like, all right, John. Okay.
If that's how you choose to remember it,
I don't care. Yeah, good on you, man. But they all speak so highly of, and we've had Kate on. We've had Kate Longhurst on. It's not just the men's games; it's the women's game as well. There's and then we've had. I mean, Joe put Kate in her 11 as well, which was really cool.
That was the first women's player that got into your first 11. Right?
It was very, very good. And we had a couple of the BAME Hammers on. We had Apu on the other day who did a black 11, which was really cool. And yeah, I mean, everyone takes it in good jest. I mean, it's not necessarily you have to pick your best 11. We've had the worst 11s, the sick note 11s. We've had,
Mine was the give a shit 11.
Yeah, the give a shit 11. Yeah, we've had the locked up 11 from Graham at News and Mother Brown. So yeah, it's been fun. It's great fun because it gives me an excuse to talk about West Ham like every night basically for an hour or so. So it's a good.
And
laugh.
like you say, there's like 200, like nearly 250 of them. So if you've got time during lockdown 2 and you can't get out and about, there's plenty of a back catalogue there to go and check out.
Exactly, or lockdown 3. Who knows? But yeah,
well,
there's so many big names though. I mean, like you've got my favourite, like Ray Winston, and you've been in the pub as well. But what I'd love to have like 5 minutes with Ray in a pub. I would think I would probably die in heaven.
That
really
was special, because it was like to be honest, I didn't think. I had like a list of people I wanted to interview, and Ray was pretty much at the top, just below Chesney Hawkes. And no,
he is the one and only, though, right?
He is the one and only. You got in there too early, Joe. And so so it just turned up. Fortunate enough to get Ray on board. He was in Sicily at the time. He's only just come back. Actually, I think he got back about 2 weeks ago. He was stuck in Sicily pretty much from the first lockdown. He flew over there and it all shut down. So he was stuck in what a horrible place to be stuck, Sicily for like the summer months. But anyway, we can't all do that. So I thought, well, I have to do something a bit special for Ray. So my friend converted his garage into a pub. So I thought, that's like it, innit? Ray Winston in a pub talking about West Ham. It was like and when he came on, he was like, "Oh, you're in a pub, Russ?" And he went, "Oh, go get my fags." So and then he started like puffing away, and I was like, "We can't smoke in an English pub, Ray." And he went, "Yeah, you can in Sicily, mate." And then that was it. So no, it was lovely. They've all been lovely. Everyone has been lovely.
And it's such an achievement. Like I've seen a lot of people with different walks of life, different things, doing coming from different backgrounds, finding something in lockdown that is a little bit special. And finding their own little space in the world that they perhaps wouldn't have if they were just doing a normal 9 to 5 life or whatever. And it's fantastic you've done it. Like, it's such an achievement.
Thank you.
Really, people should go and check it out.
Yeah, and it's not just the West Ham fans as well, Russ. I mean, people from Arsenal have come up to you and say like they've really enjoyed the show.
We get lots of fans from all over the world, from different clubs. They message me on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, or whatever, saying they love the show. It's not because the whole concept of the channel. We always say we've got a special bunch of fans, but I think we really do, and this sort of exemplified that point. And that's what they watch it for. They said, although we're not a West Ham fan, it's nice to, particularly that first lockdown when there was no football at all, people were really clucking for something. And so, it was an idea I literally had I'm going to sound in a Marks and Spencer's car park, waiting for my wife to come out for the shopping because we could only have one person in there at a time. It stemmed from literally a bit of Googling on Wikipedia on the West Ham page, and it was like, in 2003, they did this survey where they interviewed 500 fans and they asked them for their dream 11, and it was Parks, Brooking.
You thought, I'll have that,
and I thought, you know what? That's been it's like 17 years ago. No one's done anything since then, so I'll nab that. But I was like, I didn't see any of these players. I maybe saw I think Canio was in there, and Julian was in there. The rest I hadn't seen. So I thought my 11 would be really different, and I know like his 11 and his 11 and his 11. And to be honest, the whole channel is an amalgamation, it's going to say really corny, of the West Ham community, because it started off me literally messaging like people like Baz, Gonzo, Gio, X, Sean, all them lot, and they all came on, and then they all started saying, "Oh, you should put this person, you should this," and then sort of the little black book got bigger and bigger and bigger. And
it's like the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, but it's the 6 degrees of Russ.
Yeah, well, the 6 degrees of Steve Bacon, I think we'll say. So Steve will be on soon. Bless him, he's not well at the moment, but he will be on soon. And it's just been great. And we've done the stuff for the charity stuff, and then we sort of moved and did like game shows. We've done a bit of baking, I did everything. I do a live one on a weekday, like a lunchtime thing, just because there's a lot of people out there who are struggling and stuff, and we just talk about absolute rubbish for 30 minutes at lunchtime to try and let everyone have a lunch break. And it's great fun. And we've had some really emotional episodes as well. You realise how much West Ham means to some people. although it means something to me, when these guys are saying, like, we had a guy called Peter Singh on, who was basically saying that West Ham saved him from a mental breakdown, basically. And you're like, fucking hell, seriously? This is like, it's crazy. Yeah, but it's how much it means to some people. And people love all those stories because every story is individual, isn't it? You like how you became a West Ham fan, Jim, how Joe became a fan, how I became a fan. Everyone has a slightly individual journey to get to the same place. And yeah, no, I love it. I absolutely love it. And yeah, I think literally today we're just about to hit 7,000 subscribers, which is mental. Which someone said makes it the third biggest channel or something like that for West Ham fans, which is absolutely mental. I didn't think it was going to be this.
Well, look, anyone who's listening, make sure you subscribe as well.
Yeah.
Get those numbers up and get to number one. Now, as if that wasn't enough of a claim to fame and to put you into West Ham history, obviously you've got a role within the club. So,
yeah.
What is your official title over there?
So, well, match day DJ basically. So, for the last 20 seasons, I'm the one who basically presses the bubbles button. So when the players come out, to throw bubbles. In essence, that's not all I do, but that's what most people will recognise me for. So I must have played that bloody song about 1,000 times or something like that. So yeah, 20 years, man and boy, Upton Park to London Stadium. Yeah, and that's what I do. So obviously I've still been there when it's been shut down, basically, behind closed doors. So yeah, it was great on Saturday to have some fans back.
So did you actually pick the music that goes out?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, more and more of my time, when I first started, it was like literally carte blanche, really. It was like you can do not whatever you want within reason, but because there was no video packages or anything like that. And obviously more and more, there's ads, they do video content and stuff like that. So it makes it a bit more of an interactive experience. And so, yeah, we have leeway. Obviously we have to play certain songs because it's almost like people have, or particularly before lockdown, they, planned their planned when they're going to get so they can hit, it's London's calling. I've got like 8 minutes before the teams come out. So if we changed it, they'd be like, what? They come out, what's going on here? And so yeah, we do have some sort, and people take the mickey out of me because obviously if we're not winning at half time, I have like a playlist in. I've got like if West Ham are winning at half time or if they're losing, and for some reason I never press shuffle. I always just press play. So it's always the bloody Foo Fighters that plays at half time or at the end of the game if we haven't got.
I was going to say this. It's one of them things that, and obviously it's no offense to you, Russ, but whenever we've lost the game and Foo Fighters comes on, my mate Wilson is like, that fucking song, it's too upbeat for a loss.
it's like you have to play generic. It's like generic rock. I remember once we used to play anything. I just play like, I don't know, some dance music. And I remember Ginge once. So we have a floor manager, and the floor manager afterwards said, Ginge was like, this was when Ginge was playing. I think they'd lost, and he's walking up and went, this song, we've lost. It's a bit fucking upbeat. It's like, well, I can't really play Adele or anything like that. It's like we'd be slitting our wrists when we're getting off the pitch. But yeah, it's always and you have to, and also you got to be careful as well. I mean, I've made some clangers. Like if we've lost to City, and then I play Oasis. You don't think about it, or Fatboy Slim at Brighton, and there's all these little connotations that you got to go like Leicester and Kasabian and stuff. It's all like. It's not a hard job really at all, to be honest. It's great fun, but it can be a bit stressful because loads of like timings, because you've got to make sure everything's timed so the teams go at the same time, there's no overrun. And half time, that was a good thing about not having any fans, kind of thing, because I could go for a wee at half time, because there was no beat the Batak or kicking it with Kissimmee or any games that Chris had to do. So yeah, I had to. Saturday was a bit of a struggle getting the old bladder back into form. But yes, it was. I love it. It's great fun. It's a great bunch of kids. I mean, the guys I've worked there. I mean, Martin Godleyman. Obviously, I worked with Jeremy Nicholas beforehand. I've worked with both of them for 10 years. A floor manager, I've worked for 10 years, and all the techs. So all the guys who do all the digiboards and stuff. A lot of them we've been working for 10 years at least with them. So it's a real nice little family community there as well. So yeah, it's good fun. It is good fun. It's good banter. We all have
it sounds like a little dream. I mean, Joe, what's the song that jumps out to you? The song that gets played in the ground? Because I know that obviously you were on my radio show, you and Amanda, and Amanda said like Fatboy Slim, every time she hears that song she's transported to Upton Park or to London Stadium. But what's yours?
But that's it now. It is that song now. If anybody asks me, I will say that song. I've got that on every playlist of mine there through everything I play. It's just non-stop. But I never grow tired of it though, do you? When you
No,
play it?
Hairs on your arms.
Yeah, it's my buffers. It's like, like when I used to do radio DJing or wedding DJing, it was my sort of toilet track because it was like a long.
Is it so long?
This is my buffer in case because sometimes you might have, I don't know, a team might play a bit of gamesmanship and not come out a minute or so after the other team. So it's sort of like, it's about 6 minutes, that track, I think, from beginning to end. It's a bit like Insomnia, Faithless. That's about from the good bit, it's about 6 minutes in. So they're sort of my toilet break tray, just to give us a little bit of buffer. Otherwise, dead air is a crime, basically, isn't it, with these things? But no, it was great to have everyone back on Saturday as well. So it was lovely, or start to have some people back on Saturday.
Yeah. Sorry, Cheryl, you going to say something?
No, go on. You're okay. Go on. It's okay.
No, okay, cool. So part of the reason we asked you on, Russ, was this week was Rainbow Days. Oh, it's still Rainbow Days. Actually, it's 2 weeks. Because obviously they give everyone the opportunity to have a home and away game. And the focus for this campaign was about allies. So obviously you've had us on your show. You've kind of given us your platform and stuff, which is fantastic, and we really appreciate that. And we wanted to bring an ally on, so someone who was kind of has supported the community, and to speak to people, not necessarily about, I think there's always a lot of stuff around the negatives and discrimination and all that kind of stuff, rather than the positives. And I think one of the big positives about campaigns like this and it's about the allyship, because most people aren't LGBT. Most people in the UK also aren't black, or Asian or whatever. So it's always really, really good when you find people who encapsulate all the same values as you do, but without kind of needing to. It's voluntary, Yeah. So just wanted to kind of bring you on and sort of, I guess, ask like, what makes you want to be an ally to anyone? What makes you make the decision to go, I'm going to speak to those people from Pride of Irons and have them on my channel?
Because it sounds so cheesy, but it doesn't, and it's regardless of anyone's sexual orientation or ethnicity or whatever. The fact is that Crossed Irons is a community symbol, and it's on the Pride of Irons, it's on the West Ham, it's on the BAME, it's on Scandinavian Hammers, it's on Fresno Irons, it's all over the bloody place. And that's what I tried to do. I deliberately didn't want to. Not alienate, that's the wrong word, but I wanted to be as inclusive as possible. So the idea was I wanted to get people of different ages, different genders, different orientations, sexual orientations, ethnicities, different countries, just to show actually this weird little club in East London has this absolutely massive, diverse fan base, which just spreads the world and spreads every strand of it. It's a crazy club, but it's a club that everyone loves. And regardless of whether you're LGBT or whether you're, I don't know, I don't even know any different. I don't care really, because I really don't see any difference at all. But I just think it's lovely to get people from different communities on, different groups, to actually, show, we're all the same. We're all West Ham fans. We've all had to suffer. We all haven't won anything since 1980, apart from the Intertoto Cup. And so, it wasn't really a conscious thing originally, but actually, as I did it, I thought actually I needed to get, and the same thing with the YouTube groups themselves. So, we've had pretty much every YouTube group or someone from each YouTube channel as well as podcasts and things like that, because we're all just one community. And and there's things at the moment where people are trying to sort of pull together a bit more for charity and stuff, and it's just really, really important. I really just don't really see any difference really between different groups, to be perfectly fair. You just, your bunch, someone else's bunch, and someone else's bunch, but we're all West Ham fans, isn't it? And that's cheesy, but that's my perception, basically.
No, you're right. I mean, look, I look at you, Russ, right? Young bloke, young family, right? All right, youngish bloke, young family, right?
Big 4-0 next year, Joe.
Oh, yeah.
Not saving up.
Don't look it. Don't look it. No, but look, we're going to turn into a love fest in a minute if I'm not careful. But it's a case of like, I got a friend of mine, young fella, Steve, West Ham supporter all his life. Lives near Rush Green, wanted his kid to start coming over and watching West Ham women, so we started meeting up again. And he joined Pride of Irons because he realised the importance of understanding like the inclusivity and diversity. And he wanted his kids to sort of grow up and just basically all it means is just be a nice fella when he grows up and have some understanding, as simple as that. And that's why he joined. And I look at people like you with that, Russ, you know, just like we are, as you say, it's all family. And I do believe in that, united. You know, maybe corny, but I do believe in it.
It's true.
I mean, the corniest things are the truest, though, aren't they? I mean, like, you take that it was famous. I say famous. I mean, it's probably only famous to us, but Cass Pennant line from one of his books where he said, you know, all the trouble that went on back in those days, you know, around race and stuff. And he said, but when I was at West Ham, the only colours that mattered were claret and blue. No one else cared about anything else.
So true.
And I think it's such a simple statement, but it speaks volumes.
Yeah, yes, it's really true. It's like we had Apu on the other day from Bamehammers, and basically he was sort of saying, you know, he was carted around all over East London. Basically, never really had anywhere to settle as a family, but because he was a West Ham fan, that was his in. So he was at the back of the school, you know, back of the class, swapping panini stickers with Chris or you know, or someone else because it had the West Ham and the amount of times, you know, it's not just, you know, I might be going across somewhere in the world, you know, on holiday. That'd be nice. Do you remember we used to go on holiday? That was lovely, wasn't it? I remember that time.
What's that word? Holiday?
I can't remember it. You know, when you say a word so many times, it sounds like it's the wrong word. And if there's a West Ham fan within 10 meters of me, I'll sniff him out. And my wife's will tut. She'll roll her eyes. And it just is, but it's the same as a crazy person. If there's a crazy person, my wife just like, it's like a magnet to my wife. It's so funny. She married me, that's my wife. And so it's always been, it's always, I mean, you know, I love West Ham. I love it as a club. I love it as a community. We're a special bunch of fans. We've been hardened over the years. I've likened it to, when you've learnt to play the guitar, you have to grow these sort of callus on your finger to make sure it doesn't hurt when you play the string. Good analogy. Yeah, and that's basically being a West Ham fan. You know, we've been calloused, and so it brings a certain type of person. And I think that's why we get lots of non-West Ham fans watching the channel for that exact reason, because we're a unique bunch. We are absolutely so crazy for our club. We've won bugger all.
Well, it's weird because my family all support Spurs, right? All of them. Yeah. Both sides, every single one. And I just never got into football. Just it never meant anything to me. I never felt anything. But it was when I started knocking about with my mates who then I've known them now since I was 18. But when they started forcing me to go and play football over the park, I was abysmal, and you probably could tell on Soccer AM, not very good footballer. But it was like during that FA Cup run, and just they drew me into it, and I knew I wasn't like it's not like it was like a glory hunting thing because they were doing well in this cup run. It was because I knew about West Ham. I knew that they, you know, like you said, hadn't won anything for years and all the rest of it. But it was just seeing how much they cared, and also it was about how much the player, you know, because it wasn't the most glamorous squad, but how much those players put in, and that's what drew me in. It wasn't anything other than the community side of it, and what it meant to those people.
And it's true. And I mean, you know, lockdown is a perfect example. You see the West Ham community coming out in all force. You know, obviously there's been people who have had tragedy during lockdown, and obviously part of Facebook groups or whatever. You see what happens, and you know the boys and girls, they all pull together, and it's lovely. It makes you sort of feel warm inside when you see. I mean, one of them had a bereavement, and you know the group arranged to have some flowers put on the chair of the young boy who passed, and that was beautiful. And you know, I mean, we've done the stuff for obviously the food banks, the Iron Supporting food banks. Now, you know, they spend loads of them. You know, a lot of their money is raised at match days. There's been no match days, so they haven't been able to raise it, but they need it just more than ever. And you know, September we did a big sort of push. We raised like over 20 grand, which was mental. And we're trying to do it again now for the new Record a Toy Appeal as well as the Iron Sporting Food Banks. And it just makes me crazy, you know. And it's people not even in Newham, you know. I mean, I don't even live in Newham, you know. I live in Allchurch, innit? And so, but everyone gets involved. I got some bloke to print up a QR code with the Iron Sporting food banks to put on my Christmas lights. And we've raised about probably 60, 70 quid down Osborne Road, you know, where people have just like, probably just found out what a QR code is more than anything.
Yeah.
And donating money. But it's lovely. And the guys are doing. We've had we had Neil Taylor on from Longley the Bowling, and Sadie, who are doing the stuff for the advent calendars and selection boxes for the kids. And it's like, fucking hell, and he said, I've got a little daughter, she's 8. And you're thinking, God, there's me picking up an iPad. Oh, God, just in case she's listening. Never know. Picking up an iPad for a birthday, a new iPad. And these kids getting in a selection box. And it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But it sort of really sort of does bring that sense of community that we all feel. And we're just one family, innit? And I think the Rainbow Laces stuff is great. I mean, obviously what they were doing on Saturday with all the rainbow across the top, that was really cool. I thought that was a really, really cool thing to do. And I just think it's something which sadly needs to be done to show it's the same with everything else. When they do sort of these types of initiatives, it's sad that they have to do them. Really, in all honesty, we're in a society now. We should all be sort of just chilled out about everything. But obviously, some people aren't, and it's nothing you can do about them. But it's great with the Rainbow Laces stuff, and I love it. I think it looked really cool on Saturday. I was like, oh my God, that's brilliant. It's a real.
I think that this what I really hope comes out of this is that we all come out of this with the same level of kindness that we found during lockdown.
Yeah.
And just to kind of go rewind a little bit, you mentioned the Bain Hammers, and I did a panel discussion for Rainbow Laces the other day, and at the end, everyone's given a shout out, and I gave a shout out to them because I said, look, the work they're doing is fantastic, but it's not just what they're doing for their own community. They're cooking meals for NHS staff, massive amounts of meals and taking them to people on the front line, and they're doing that all in their own time, their own money, their own resources, getting their own transport to do that. It's fantastic. All the stuff that's happened with the food bank, it's bloody brilliant.
Oh yeah.
Supporting Rainbow Laces is an easy one, right? It doesn't cost anything because that's just supporting a community thing.
Yeah.
But we did the Soccer AM thing on Saturday, and we said that any money we raised would go to the food bank, and unfortunately we ended up with nothing. But Jimmy Bullard actually went, no, do you know what? That's a great thing. So I'm going to put the money in. So he's put 200 quid in. Everyone doing those little things that add up, 200 quid here, like you say, 60 quid from the QR code down your road, people cooking meals. It's all part of that
brilliant
family of people doing good.
Someone like John Batomsky, obviously, who heads up to Iron supporting food banks. I mean, he doesn't live anywhere around here. He lives in up Stoke way, and he's driving down with 1,200 cans of dog food and 30,000 pizzas. It's mental, and it's just like things like that. Just shows you, just the togetherness that we have doesn't really cover geography. We have when we did the thing in September, we had 100 quid from the Singapore Hammers, 100 quid from Adam over in Texas, and and it's like these guys will never go into Newham probably ever in their life, but they're still because it's something
supporting the community that is connected to that club. I remember when John was chair of Worcester and he tried to get it kicked off then, for whatever reason it didn't work out, but I suppose once he'd stepped away from that, he had 100% of his efforts into this, and it's really wonderful. And I think it's one, we can argue about the things that are good about the club and the things that are bad about the club, but this is one of them things you can go, well, the fans are doing it, the club's supporting it. That's one good thing we can say as a club we've done together. Which I think is
and it's across the board. So it's not just coming from the fans. The players have got involved in terms of donations. I'm not going to say who because it's not fair. And the chairman as well have donated as well, and that's on the website. And Mr. Sullivan paid. He bought a van. They've been driving around in their own cars. And so they've been charging petrol and stuff like that. And so it's little things like that, not little things. It's a bloody van, it doesn't matter what sort of, it's a lifeline for them really. And it makes you feel really good about the club. In a time when the clubs were doing all right off on the pitch as well. So, seventh.
Well, it's not bad, is it? And for a very small period, we were third.
Oh. How many screenshots were taken of that? Yeah,
many. But look, on that point about the food bank, we've got something we want to do to help all we can. So last season, we bought an extra one of the pink shirts for breast cancer, and we gave it to the club to get the women's team to sign. And then obviously COVID's kind of hit, and basically when they've returned, the staff messaged and went, "Oh, by the way, we've got that shirt." So we need to figure out how we're going to do it, but we want to raffle off this lovely shirt here, signed by. Come on, Joe, tell me who we've got on here.
There's so many. I can see Martha Thomas, who actually came into our chat last night. It was just amazing. And there's something veteran Artest on Middag number 23. So there's a lot of them actually left as well. So that is a shirt that I'm going to buy a lot of tickets. Let me just say that. I'm going to buy a lot of tickets.
Yeah, we need to figure out how we're going to do it, but we're going to get that online somehow and get that raffled off, and however much we make for it, it's going to go to the food bank.
Fantastic.
And we need to figure out anything else that we can do to support that. We've got a couple of other ideas, but we'll keep everyone posted. We'll tweet that out and stuff once it's all set up.
Great shout.
Every little helps and do as much as
it does. And as I said, we had, like you say, that Martha coming on to chat. We did a thing on Thursday. We did an appreciation night for Trevor Sinclair. And, I messaged Trevor and said, "Look, man, we're doing this night about you. Can you do a little video?" Because we did one for Hearts a couple of weeks ago, and John couldn't do it, couldn't pop in. So he sent us a video. And Trevor went, "Oh, I'll come in. I'll come on the show." And I was like, "Brilliant." Didn't tell anyone else. So it was a real surprise. But just before he came on, he phoned me, "Russ, I've got these shirts. Like he said, I bought this shirt. I'm going to sign it, and we can give it to the..." And it's stuff like that as well. All these little bits, and he just said it just really sort of gives you a better sense of humanity and how everyone's really kind. There's a lot of kinder people than there are horrible people in the world. But
it's so easy, isn't it? It's so easy to do one, even if it's just a small thing, like you said, all those small things.
Yeah,
they all add up.
Yeah. We've got we'll be doing a few. As I said, I'll sort of do these quiz nights where we sort of do like not quiz nights, like game shows. Like Pointless, and we do like Wheel of Fortune and stuff. And I've done a couple with some of the ex-players for the Newham Toy Recorder. We're hopefully doing some sort of event soon. I don't know when it is, but and they've all given up their time. They had a great time, and and one of them was really shit, and he phoned me up and he was like, "I want to do another one next week." So he's like, "Who do you want?" I said, so we've done like two. I was aiming to do one, but one was so crap in the first one that he wanted to go and do another. It's brilliant. Honestly, it's so nice. People are so generous with their time, whether it's for the charity stuff or for My Hammers 11. I mean, we haven't had to pay for I know there's some players out there you might have to pay for them to appear on the show. We haven't had any of that situation. Everyone's given their time up for free. And it's just nice. It's lovely. I love it. And I love doing the stuff for charity because, to be honest, I've done bugger all for charity. I'll be honest. I grew a moustache once. I ran a half marathon once, and that was about it. So it's nice to do something for charity and feel like giving back, particularly when it's to do with the kids as well.
Well, if nothing else, you're raising a huge amount of awareness for all this stuff. Exactly. You're kind of you're enabling other people to contribute to that kindness.
Sure,
it's wicked. But let's keeping with the theme of things that are good and upbeat and making us feel great.
Yeah.
This season, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
How is it for you? Because you're there every game.
Oh, do you know what I've loved ever since restart, bar 2 games, the beginning of restart, obviously when we lost to Wolves, when they turned up, and even that day I knew we was going to lose just because Wolves looked a very professional side then. That was last season. Obviously this season with the Newcastle game, and then probably about 10 minutes of the Man United game. It's brilliant. Honestly, I've always been. When the reappointment of Moyes came in, I'm always a very positive person, and so I was like, do you know what? Actually, he's what we do need, because we need some stabilisation in the team, and he's just got give the man time, and I mean, everyone forgets what a great job he did at Everton. He did a fantastic job at Everton. Solidified them. I mean, but I think his genius, the whole genius of it, is his backroom staff. I think they're phenomenal. You can see there's echoes of Kevin Nolan in the way we take corners, and we just seem to have a team that want to play. And even like you can imagine, probably a year ago, if that what happened at Man United on Saturday happened, there would have been Moyes out. Everyone was like, we were unlucky. We done well. It's really funny. It's like everyone's dialed the cynicism down a little bit now, which is really nice. But I'm loving it. I just think it's really great. as a team, it looks like we've always got a goal in us. And there's been a lot of times where we
When was the
haven't
last time we didn't score?
exactly. I can't
I
remember.
think it was
to be
the
honest.
Arsenal game, wasn't it?
Must have been. Yeah, it must have been the Arsenal game. But yeah, there's always been a goal in
we're
us.
feeling positive all the time. Every time Bowen gets near the ball or
Yeah.
Sushi, any of them, you think, oh, we can get a goal here. And it's
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I felt like that. It's yeah, it's brilliant watching a match now.
There's no like flinch players. I call them flinch players. Players who, when they when their name's on the team sheet, you go, you flinch. You think, yeah. The only option is obviously that the Haller Antonio thing. But at the end of the day, I just think, yeah, there's no real sort of like players that you go, oh, is he going to turn up today? You know,
Even that though, Haller recently, it seems like game on game, the confidence is building, but not just that. It's almost, I wouldn't say a smile because the bloke don't smile, but it's almost as if like he's playing with a smile on his face a little bit. You know, he seems to be enjoying it more. They all do.
Yeah, I mean, even that first half on Saturday, you know, it was fun. You know, it was almost funny. You know, it's like, oh, gold, oh, West Ham. You know, can't we score? It's like we couldn't. I was having because obviously there were some people back at the game as well, so I was having text messages from obviously the guys did the live from London Stadium, like Chris and Jack and Carlton did that. So they were watching the game. So a text like coming through from me going, oh, we're all over them. And then is there not another way we can't score a goal? It's literally, we had like every possible way of missing a shot. It's particularly Haller when he tripped over his own feet. But it was just like, but you just knew it was. You sort of the writing was on the wall as soon as they brought on Fernandes.
That is the most West Ham game, though, isn't it? It's the most West Ham game imaginable. Is you're playing really well against Man United. You've got tons of opportunities, tons of chances to score that you're just not getting. And I said it at half time, didn't I, Joe, in the chat? I was like, I've got a bad feeling about this.
Everyone said that, yeah.
Everyone knew it was going to be a different second half, didn't they? Two completely different games. Just bringing on Rashford.
And it's like, you know, obviously with the Villa game where he didn't play particularly well and won, and Fulham as well didn't play particularly well and won. You know, it was just a complete role reversal where he played really well and lost. And it's just, you come out and get game thinking, how did we lose that game? Seriously, you know, how did we lose it for 60 minutes? We were sort of like, and then that little 10-minute blip and we just went back into our shells. But I was on the West Ham Fan TV's Friday Night Pint on Friday, obviously, and Ryan made a good point saying, you know, when you've got a good team, when we lose, and then the bounce. So, you know, if they can bounce back and put in a performance against Leeds, then that's a good team, rather than letting it just slide down as it's happened several times to us before.
Yeah, but you know, I think this is a really good example of that weird West Ham, like you said, like we're all a bit nuts, like that weird West Ham personality thing. Because everyone remembers that game against Hull that we won 2-1, where we booed the players off. Yeah. Then that game on Saturday, I've enjoyed that more than the last 3 games before it. Because it was just the way we were passing and moving and the speed with which we were attacking and the confidence. It was so enjoyable to watch. And even though we lost, I didn't feel that horrible thing in the pit in my stomach like I've been punched. No. I just thought, do you know what? We gave that a bloody good go.
Yeah. And I think that's unlucky. That's what people want, isn't it? When we go to like a full Anfield or a full Etihad and having a go at the teams, because we are good enough to have a go at them. And, you know, bar the fact of, I don't know how much they played for Fernandes and how much Rashford would be worth, you know, a couple of £100 million worth of players, we would have got something out of that game, really. And what was amazing was the first time I think ever in my 20 years is, as the game finished, obviously Foo Fighters came on. I don't think I paid Foo Fighters. I think deliberately, I paid something else. I think I played Helicopter by what's the name? That World Cup.
Block Party.
Block Party, yeah. I don't know why I put Helicopter. Anyway, because you've got to be careful as well with things like that. You know, if I remember once, I think Pardew had lost a couple in a row, and I put on Paul Weller, changing man, and then some schmarky journalists would go, oh, and even the DJ thinks it's time for a change, you know, all that type of thing. But and it's
hidden messages.
Exactly. I'm not that clever. But as the players, as it finished, the players went over to thank the 2,000 fans, and they all got up and sang Bubbles. And I've never heard us lose a game like that, apart from probably the 2006 FA Cup final, where the players have been sung off singing Bubbles, having lost the game. I don't think the Sky picked it up and stuff because it was over the other side. But I was like, wow, just shows you how well they played. And the change in attitude amongst most of the supporters now is quite astounding.
I think that sets us in good stead as well, obviously, for the Leeds match. You know, I mean, they lost, 3-1 to Chelsea as well, didn't they, last week as well?
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm actually really positive going into the next match.
Yeah, and I think also that the only variable now is obviously Leeds is in tier 3, so there's going to be no fans, and that's going to be the variance. I think that's why it's really important for the London clubs, I think, when they're playing other teams who haven't had fans, to really make those 2,000 fans sing. You know, really go for it. And to be fair, the guys that were there on Saturday did us proud. They were lit. They were cheering. They were, you know, it was lovely. A little bit emotional actually for me, because obviously I've been there in you know, there's been no fans at all, playing bubbles to myself basically and the journalists. And actually to hear it being sung back, it was like, oh my God, this was just like 280 days ago, wherever it was, you know, for the Southampton game. But yeah, no, I think Leeds, and then obviously we've got Palace, which will be good. And it's just the lead up to Christmas, isn't it? The Christmas game. So I think if you said to us at the beginning of the season, based on where we were in terms of all the, particularly after the Newcastle game, we'd be 7th after 14 games. I'm taking your arm off, to be honest, for that. So as long as on that first page, I quite like being on the first page of the league table. Do you know what I mean?
Well, the weird thing was like, I don't think it was this weekend before. Well, actually, no, we played on the Monday, didn't we? So it was, anyway, the last time I saw the table, and there was us up in the top half, and then it went down to the second half of the table. You're like, that's where I'm used to seeing us. And then you saw Man City in 11th.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on this season?
Yeah, exactly.
All over the place.
A bit crazy, like the whole Arsenal thing as well, isn't it, at the moment? So, you know, it's their time at the moment to have a complete mare. But no, it's great. It's great, as I said. It just gives us loads of confidence going into the Christmas campaign, because, you know, there's lots of points to pick up, and it'd be lovely if we can pick up, you know, I don't think we'll get maximum points, but as many as possible. So then come January, come FA Cup time, we know how our season's going to pan out. We're going to be relatively safe, hopefully, so we can have a go at the Cup. That's my thing about the Carabao Cup is it starts in September. So, you know, most teams apart from City and Liverpool have they haven't got a big enough squad to pick out 2 teams. So it's always like, you know, the Premier League takes the advantage in terms of the 2. So by the FA Cup third round, you know how your season's going to, bar a complete catastrophe, he says. That'll be clipped out when we go down in May. But no, I think it's and I wouldn't mind a couple of boring, you know, 10th seasons just to stabilise us a little bit at the moment. It's all been a bit squeaky bum time, hasn't it? Come sort of March, April time.
It has, you typically, but we've been you know, just as we've been saying, we've been doing well this season. We've been flying under the radar as well, because the teams we've played on the whole have actually been, you know, your typical kind of top 6, top 8 teams. And we've come out of those pretty well. So if we had beat Man United the other day, I won't say United, it's so tempting, but it winds me up. We would have been 3rd, right? Yeah. And I think almost not that I wanted us to lose it, but losing that and now dropping down to 7th, we're probably still flying under the radar a little bit. And you said there, you know, you'd be happy with a couple of seasons finishing 10th. Is that where you're expecting us to be, or hoping that we
I mean,
finish?
I think we're 8th now because Southampton just gone 2-1 up. So yeah, damn, boys out. No joking. And so yeah, I think realistically looking at, I'd say obviously top 10. Realistically, I mean, you're looking at who is around us. Everton, I mean, they've struggled. I think they'll start kicking up a bit form. So have Wolves. So we're sort of in that little 8th, 9th, 10th. I can see that. Palace, I think, yeah, sort of. And then you've got Villa, Newcastle, Leeds, and then I think, although Arsenal sort of, I forgot, are still 15th. So they'll eventually kick up to the top 10. So I reckon about 10th, 11th. I think realistically, that's probably where we will be. I'd hope to be obviously a lot more. I'd love to, you know, push for a Europa place. Would be amazing. But I would take 10th, 11th, and a good cup run every year, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, that's such a West Ham thing.
Such a West Ham thing, but it's true.
Mid-table and a good cup run, but how long has it been since we had a good cup run?
Yeah, I know, 14 years. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind a good cup run. But yes, and I just think, you know, this season's a cracking up, and it'll be so West Ham. It'd be so West Ham to have a cup run where there'd be no fans at the stadium. They come the finals. That's what I thought last year we'd end up probably getting to the cup final because it's such a West Ham thing to do. We've waited almost 40 years to win a cup, and there'd be no fans in that stadium. But no, we'll see, man. But yeah, Stockport away, the Ian Dowie derby. Yeah, it's a good draw for them as well. Fair play to them, and hopefully, I don't know what tier they're in, but I don't think they might be able to get some fans in and get some money in the gates for them because obviously
that'd be good.
Yeah, that's what it's about.
If you forget, I suppose, how the lower league teams struggle.
Exactly.
And we're struggling because we don't have the most cash in the Premier League. So God knows how those teams are doing.
Well, I think to be perfectly honest, I think by all accounts, by what people are saying, that it costs probably more to have the 2,000 than not. Based on, from my own experience, there was a lot more staff, obviously, there on Saturday than there was previously. There's the catering, there's the stewards and stuff like that. But personally, I don't, for 2,000, I would have. My own personal opinion would have been not to do it for the Premier League and do it for the or League 1, 2, and maybe Championship, because the Premier League was, it was 2,000 in a 60,000 stadium. But if you've got like Orient's ground, where it's got 8-9 capacity tops, and you can get 2,000 in there, that'll make a huge difference for them. Not so much, I think, for West Ham, but still, it was done. It's done. It's a start in the right direction. It's light at the end of the tunnel starting to. So, vaccines being rolled out, starting to roll out tomorrow, apparently, isn't it? So,
yeah, well,
we'll see.
Fingers crossed for that. But yeah, maybe not all the low league clubs be allowed back. Sounds like Millwall don't deserve having their fans back.
No,
going full circle on our diversity chat.
The
excuse their supporters association put out, and then they changed the settings on Twitter so no one could reply to it. And it's like, well, then you know what you're doing, really, didn't you?
Yeah. It was disappointing, wasn't it? And they have come out today. Them and QPR, they're going to do something. They're different, not taking a knee. They're doing some arm in arm thing as well. It is what it is, isn't it? It's not our club, so I don't.
Makes us prouder of our club.
Exactly. Yeah. There was no community at all.
I was just about to say, because it's not just us and the BAME group. We've got any old irons, obviously. So we're looking, making sure we're supporting and looking after the older fans. We've got the disabled supporters board, and the work they've done. I'm sure most fans probably aren't aware, but the work they've done is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
Honestly, like making football accessible for people who have access issues, and they've got James who does the commentary for the blind supporters.
It was lovely. I saw him on Saturday. He messaged me because someone asked me, was he going to be there? And I said, to be honest, I don't know, because it was like 2,000. But obviously they would know if they were visually impaired or anything like that. So James was there, managed to see him. And again, like a thing like doing the YouTube channel, I'd never met James, but James has worked at Upton Park.
Oh, he's a lovely guy. He's
such a nice bloke. And we saw each other, and I saw he had a lovely bobble hat, and we texted each other, and then we saw each other at the lift, and then we had to let a couple of reporters go in front of us, and then we saw each other on the train. It was lovely. It was really nice. And he's a top bloke. Top bloke, James. A lot of time for him. Lovely.
Yeah, I was on Stop Hammer time with him. Just phenomenally lovely guy. And doing that as well. Because he started with for his brother, didn't he? Now he just does it for all the fans. Crazy. And when they moved over to the stadium, all the systems were upgraded. So he does it for even more people. That's great stuff.
And they do it for away supporters as well.
Our club's full of
it's full of them.
People.
Honestly, it's full of them.
I'm getting emotion here. I'm getting emotion. There's so much going on.
But it's like all that stuff, innit? It's like, and what I didn't know, though, obviously we've had James on the channel as well. Really good Hammers 11. He did 11 based on commentary moments. So obviously he has to give a bit more commentary. Yeah. Because obviously it's not just because obviously it's for the visually impaired, so he has to sort of paint a picture. So it's where he's had to say things he's probably never said before. So he had like Adrian for the penalty against Everton, obviously Di Canio and things like that. And what I didn't know was he does the visually impaired commentary, but he does it for the away fans as well. So he has to sort of keep
it balanced.
Yeah, but sort of going, oh, those buggers, those bastards. Still have this sort of paint a picture for the, when we do have away fans back in. But I suppose he can let his guard down for this season at least. So, no, he's a top guy. There's loads. There's so many people who do some incredible things. And what's quite nice is, all these they sort of getting recognition for doing their stuff now. They don't do it for recognition, but they are getting recognised and stuff. And it's yeah, as I said, it can be a bit emotional, Joe, isn't it? Some, to be honest, but it is nice. It's all
I feel bad now that I name checked James and I didn't name check Kathy and Trevor from the DSB. So you've got Kathy and Trevor from DSB as well, top people. We've got Lee from Bainham's, fantastic
we've
guy.
had Lee
Loads of great people.
Lovely bloke.
So coming towards the end, looking to this weekend, what's your prediction, Russ?
Turn around for the boys. What I like about Leeds are they always give you a chance. They play really open football, but they're a little bit susceptible at the back.
Sounds perfect.
Sounds great. Sounds like a great day for if we had Mikhail and hang on, no, we haven't. But you know, a Barama, just who's all guns blazing. I think he'd rip him a new one that day, and so I'm hoping for a convincing victory. Probably not, but
how convincing?
Typical West Ham thing, isn't it? Typical. We're not. We are. I think we're going to win. We're going to win. We are going to win. I think Moyes' that was that 10-minute blip at Man United. Back to it on Saturday. It's like Friday night, isn't it? God, dear.
Oh, yeah, of course.
8 o'clock. God, dear.
Great start to the weekend.
I'll have to have my kebab a bit earlier. Plan that out. God, dear. Oh, dear.
I'll get you a Deliveroo. Don't worry about it.
No, not.
No, but I think you're right, Russ. I mean, I think that they are open. I mean, they've had big losses, 4-1 Palace and Leicester, wasn't it? They've lost. So, we can find a way in. We've got the height now as well. I'd go for easy for 2-1, 3-1.
Yeah, I think we need to. It's the type of games we need to.
So what are you picking, Joe, for your scoreline?
I'm going to be really positive because I'm going to be wrong, so I'm going to go more negative. I'm going to go 2-1 because I'm always wrong, so they've been 3-1. Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying 2-1. What are you going with,
2-1.
Russ?
Yeah.
I'm going to go for 2-0. I'm going to go for a clean sheet for West Ham.
Good one.
Against Patrick
I'm going to go for a clean sheet. I'm going to go for 3-0.
Oh.
I just feel like I mean, maybe it's misplaced positivity, and it probably is. But I feel like I'm with you, Russ. I think there's going to be a bounce back. I think there's a bit of pride in their hearts, there's a bit of fire in their belly. I think they're going to want to come back. And turn that around.
I think you're just going to get boys and Kevin and Alan and PSE all just drumming it into him over this week, drumming it into him. And that's what I love. And that's what I love. That's why if I'm watching an away game, I have the crowd noise off because I like listening to our bench because they are a bunch of nasty bastards on the bench.
I'm the same. I love hearing what's actually going on.
Well, the Villa game was brilliant because obviously it was them versus
Nolan
and Dean Smith, wasn't it? And it was just hilarious. It's like, and all the journalists, I spoke to a few of them at half time and they were just laughing at some of the colourful language that was coming out of the both benches. But I love it. I just love we just.
I can imagine Nolan that game. I was looking. I was like, he wants to put his boots on and just run on there and go through someone. You can see.
On Grealish, weren't it?
Yeah.
Oh, don't talk about Tom Daly. Don't start about that. Yeah.
Right. I mean that's about us wrapped up. But before we do go, Russ, obviously, we've talked about the channel already, but do you want to kind of give people an idea where to follow you and stuff and anything else that you want to plug?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, youtube.com/myhammers11. DJ Russy B on Twitter or whatever, or Instagram. But yeah, just check it out. Obviously, we've got the new toy recorder stuff coming up soon. We're doing an appeal for that to get some kids, some toys. There'll be some charities. I'll be doing a couple of charity things coming out as well. So yeah, I mean, it's just the same. We've got some cool stuff. We've got a couple more game shows. We've got some more appreciation nights. We're doing one on Ludo very soon. Quiz night. We just try and do a bit of everything. And baking. I love my baking, so I do a bit of baking on the channel as well. Just because, why not? We're diversity.
No, why not?
People. It's not about all people shouting about West Ham. We do a bit of baking on the channel as well.
When we're all back in the stadium, you need to have a little bake sale going on to raise.
That's what I was going to do. Money. Yeah, little bake sale, my scones and
little cupcakes. West Ham cupcakes. We're brilliant. Let's have a competition.
Yeah,
come on.
West Ham
There we
Bake
go.
Off.
There we
West Ham
go.
Bake
Oh,
Off.
do you know what? We could speak to. We've met Tom Allen a couple of times now. Maybe we
Yeah.
could message him. Go look. Do you want to come down
Yeah,
and do a
Tom.
West
Well,
Ham
he's
Bake Off?
sort of an honorary West Ham fan, isn't he now, Tom Allen? So yeah, we get him on.
Yeah.
We could do a bit of a Bake Off thing for Pride of Irons and Miami's 11. Yep, sounds great. Sounds great.
Good stuff. It means I put on even more weight in this lockdown as well.
I can reclaim some of mine.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. That lockdown body I was hoping didn't materialise much. Then I learned how to do baking and made a lot of pizzas and bread. But yeah, apart from that, but stuff like that. I mean, honestly, it's like for like my mental health and stuff. I mean, that was brilliant. Like this doing the channel, that sort of gave me some focus, because it was horrible, wasn't it? You've got nothing to do over the weekends and stuff. So that was always and the baking just wasted like 3 or 4 hours waiting for things to proof. It was brilliant. That was my Saturday, just doing some baguettes or something. Could have gone to the co-op and bought one for 89p, but no, I'd spend 4 hours proofing my own. Although I did actually almost poison my wife because I had. Shall we say this live? But no, I. It's always happened. That's why everyone needs to watch my lunchtime shows, because I just put myself into a bigger hole every time. I use the old Zephora. I love Zephora, or the disinfectant spray. Oh, Joe, it's brilliant. B&M's, get it. It's lovely.
Okay, how much is it, Russ? But we'll put it on as an advert as well halfway through.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, get a brand deal. And and I'd wiped everything down, and I forgot to. Oh yeah, Pepsi Max. Yeah, I got Pepsi Max Cherry.
There we go. Cheers.
Pepsi Max Cherry, and I'd forgotten to wipe it down properly. And then I put the bread out, gave it to, and I rolled it all up, gave it to my wife, and she was like, "Yeah, it's nice, Russ, but it tastes like Dettol." And I was like, I forgot to clean it down.
Bread by Trump.
Bread by Trump. Yeah, not getting no corona now, love. You're all right, but no, it's all good fun. It's all good fun.
Well, I think that is a very, not poisoning your wife. It's a very positive message that when you're in lockdown, finding things to do just to make yourself a bit happy and give yourself something to do can turn into something absolutely marvelous and magical.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
So inspiration, Russ, inspiration.
Oh,
yeah, and the joy that you bring people as well. I mean, I've you know my story. There's been a lot going on, and it's been nice sometimes. I've not watched them all. I haven't got the time to watch them all.
Oh, fine.
But to actually watch something with contact with West Ham and smile, and that's gold. So and
you
get
know,
emotion.
I know. Sometimes I don't know. I piss some people off a little bit because I'm always very positive, but it's always been me in my life, and I've always been very positive. So, and there's loads of different channels, loads of different content. So if you don't like mine, you can bugger off, and someone else will. I'm not really fussed. It's what I like talking about, and everyone likes listening to it. So as long as people are still liking it, then it's all good, man. But I appreciate it, Joe. Thank you.
Fantastic. Right, so that's just going to wrap up then. This has been Pride of Irons YouTube or podcast, depending on how you're consuming this format. Please subscribe to both if you can. Give us a follow, whatever it may be. Drop us a comment, like, whatever. Joe, over to you for the final words.
No, come support West Ham women as well. We're going back on the 20th. And there's going to be 700 season ticket holders there shouting for the women. And because we've not even got a manager at the moment, so we all need to get behind them. Positive tweets and positive thoughts.
Positivity all round. Thanks very much, everyone, and we'll catch you all next time. Come on, your irons.
Go on.